and welcome back to The Good Life. And to me, as always, The Good Life is cooking in the kitchen with family and friends. And today, back by popular demand, I've got my dad here with me.
Buongiorno, and for today, Buon Natale. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This is Christmas Eve 2013. And what better way to have a Christmas recipe than have red, white, and green marinara sauce. So I'm going to leave it over to Dad and let him take it from here.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, like Jennifer said, we're going to cook a marinara sauce today. Marinara comes from the Italian word mariner or ave sailor. So this is a kind of a sauce that would be made on board ship. The acid in the tomatoes gave the sauce extra length of time before spoilage, and the fact that there's no meat in it added to that benefit. So it was very popular back to Columbus's day when they would actually cook something like this on a wooden ship. Alright, now the ingredients, there's not many. Many of the best Italian restaurants have very few ingredients. We're going to use olive oil, not regular vegetable olive oil. Garlic, a pinch of red pepper. Now we want to not go overboard on this. Too much red pepper, it starts becoming like a salsa. So you want a pinch of red pepper. I don't use it myself, but I use it for company. So keep it at a pinch. Tomatoes, a 28-ounce can. Buy yourself a good grade of tomatoes. There's all the difference. You can taste the difference. There's a little sweetness to the better ones. A little bit of salt. And I have here, since it's winter time, basil's not available from the garden, so I have here basil paste. Okay, we're going to start cooking the marinara sauce. That'll start with putting olive oil in the skillet. We want a half a cup. So I'll go ahead and put a half a cup in here. Now I would suggest that you practice pouring a half a cup of olive oil into a measuring cup, back into the container again, and keep doing that for fun until you can feel from the container what a half a cup is, rather than pour it into a measuring cup, so that your friends can see that guy doesn't use recipe spoons and bowls and stuff like that. It's kind of a neat little private pat on the back, so to speak. Alright, so now I've got the olive oil in the skillet, and it's going to get warm, and I want to prepare the garlic now. The garlic, I've got 2 large cloves, almost had, 2 large cloves. I'm going to peel them. Now here's what we do. This is a chef's knife, that's what it's called. It's all sort of purposes, but I use it, you flatten it on it, and you pound it. Good, pound it good. Then you get the other clove, put it down there, and you pound it good. Now that makes it very easy to peel the garlic skin off. It comes off really, really easy compared to trying to do it before you smash it. And no matter, if it's smashed, who cares? You're either going to chop it up or use it whole or whatever, so that smashing of it doesn't hurt anything. Now I don't use a crock pot here. I just go ahead and use my trash can, have it handy beside the stove. Alright, so I'll have my garlic. Now in this particular recipe, we're not going to mince it, we're not going to chop it. We're just going to put it in the hot oil, and we're going to just kind of season it, to simmer it until it's golden. Not beyond. If you go beyond golden, it gets bitter. So I'll place this in there, and we'll be right back. Okay, the garlic's finished. As you can see, it's a beautiful golden brown. Unfortunately, it goes to the trash. The oil, now, has been induced with the garlic flavor. And while we were gone, I also added the pinch of the red pepper I talked about. Pinch. Alright, you cannot believe how good this smells. Just the garlic and olive oil. Okay, with the garlic gone now, it's time to add the tomatoes. And while I do that, I want to just kind of tell a little story on myself. Gotta be careful there, as you can see. If you have the fire too high, it'll want to sizzle with the water that's in the tomato. But just, that might have been a little high, but it's not cooked. This aroma that I talked about being so good, before I even added the tomato sauce, the tomatoes, Claire and I were known to, when we entertained, we specialize in Italian cooking. So often I would put on the stove some garlic and olive oil and cook it. And it was such a welcoming aroma when they walked in the door. They were all just waiting for dinner. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this, to my satisfaction. I just add it until it looks like it's like you want a sauce to be when you pour it over your spaghetti. Just a feel. You can do this. It's not hard at all. This is a great, great recipe. Okay, the sauce is now boiled, simmered for 20 minutes. By simmering, I mean it's the lowest stage of boiling. Not the lowest flame. You want the flame high enough to boil the sauce, just barely boiling, like you see here. And you can see little stripes of the olive oil here. That's good. You want that. Okay, so we put the garlic in, the red pepper, the tomatoes, the water, and all we have to add now is salt to taste and the basil. So we're going to do some salt to taste. And the basil. We'll put in, for this, the equivalent of a couple of tablespoons, which would be about 4 fresh basil, broken up with your hands, not cut. Do not cut basil. You'll learn that if you cut it like you would chopping onions, it'll turn black where the blade hit the herb. You don't want that. It's unsightly. So you want to just take the basil leaves in your hand and break them up into small pieces. Okay, now this sauce is done. Simple as that. There's so many Italian sauces that do not have meat in them that are fabulous to eat. So from white to red, try as many as you can. They're really great. All right, now we're going to cut again, and we're going to add the freshly cooked dry pasta to the sauce, and that'll be the complete main dish. Okay, we're ready to wrap up now. I've cooked, I told you, dry pasta. That's what Italians call pasta asciutta. That means it's store-bought. It's already cooked, like you conventionally use. In this case, we're using spaghetti. It's a thin spaghetti. It doesn't make any difference. And what Italians do, we cook it. We boil it in salted water. Small handful of salt. If you're going to make spaghetti for more than 4 people, you need a bigger pot than this. This is for demonstration. Anyway, I'm cooking the spaghetti, and for Italians, you want the spaghetti to be al dente, to the tooth, al dente. That means when you chew the spaghetti, you can chew it. It has a bite to it. Not soft. If you like it soft, there's nothing wrong with that. But the real Italians, they cook it al dente. All right, I'm going to drain this, mix it with the sauce, and then we're ready to eat. But I wanted to show you a couple tips on draining it. It's special. All right, now I've drained this pasta into the colander, and I'm ready to put it back in here and mix it with the sauce. But before I do that, I'm going to take some of the sauce, put it in the bottom of the pasta, the pan that I cooked the spaghetti in. Now that will help if you don't use all your spaghetti, which you hardly ever do. That'll keep what's left from congealing into a just big pasty ball. That's not what you want. So it's all gone. Take a fork, best instrument, and you just marinate the two. This is delicious. Now you can create different, well, not create, but recreate different recipes by adding peppercorns, sardines, anchovies. But when you do that, you change it. It's no longer a marinara sauce. It's a puttanesca sauce or something like that. Okay, we're done. We're going to serve now.
Wow, Dad, that looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Good job.
Not done yet. I'm going to raise this just for the camera's sake. Don't expect you to eat your dinner this way. I'm going to take our little cheese grater, some Parmesan, fresh cheese right on top of that dude. Oh
my
this
gosh.
is so good. And I put a little bit of basil, the squeezed basil, on the side for flavor
Let's
and a little
just do a
decoration.
little close up in case you can see what we are talking about. That looks really fantastic.
And don't forget, we did this all in 20 minutes.
Right.
Excellent.
Right.
Cook the spaghetti alongside the sauce, so it's not 10 minutes on top of 20, it's all done at one time. Now, if you're not into twirling, like Italians eat spaghetti, then you could cut it. If you're not here, you can cut it. If you're here and we know you don't like to twirl spaghetti, we make penne for you. That way you can eat what you want.
Just don't embarrass yourself in front of us.
That's right. And you don't want to go on this either. So there you go. That's perfect, isn't it?
And then, as his daughter always loved to do, I'm just going to steal a little bit of sauce in there with my piece of Italian bread. Mother's homemade Italian bread.
This is so good. You're going to have to try this. Tastes like there's sugar in it, doesn't it?
It's wonderful. It's very good.
That's
Perfect.
the tomato. That's the difference in the tomatoes. Cento.
And you can do this during the week. You can do this on the weekends. This is a great, quick sauce for a terrific spaghetti dinner. Buon Appetito, everybody. Thanks for joining us again.